How do I sound?
You sound fine.
Are
Huggable.
you okay, Leon? You sound sad.
Yeah, I'm just having like a really awful day, but I'm gonna just try to put it behind me and talk about things.
You know what'll cheer you up?
What's that?
Shopping some new nicknames for you, Leon.
Nice.
Because I don't think steamed milk is catching on.
I thought everybody liked hot foam.
Yeah, someone called me hot foam on Twitter.
I mean, that's sexy and all. Let me hit you with this, though.
Okay.
T-Dog.
No.
How about Taya Leone? I can do this for a
Austin,
while.
I'm beginning to wonder whether or not you actually, made any real effort here with these.
Austin, you said you could do this for a while. Could you? I mean, can you? Will you, is what I'm saying. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Word Funk. I am Leon Thomas. I am joined by Austin Yorsky and Johnny Maloney.
It's been a really weird week, guys. Jonathan Blow pissed in a bottle, and then Donald Rumsfeld released his own video game. So I don't even know what is happening.
Who hasn't done both of those things at least once in their life?
I've done at least
and maybe concurrently.
I've done one of those things. We don't have to guess which it is, do we?
I own it on Steam, so I think we all know the answer to that one, Leon.
Okay.
Also, Pikachu talks now. Do you guys see this shit? Pikachu talks.
No, I didn't.
It's a good thing we don't do a video game podcast anymore.
Yeah.
I heard that he talks, but I feel like it would ruin a childhood illusion of mine to discover that he does not, in fact, sound like Keith David. So
he sounds like a middle-aged Japanese man because it's in Japanese.
Yeah.
We have a ton of shit to talk about. Do you want to jump right in, or do you want to keep? By the way, the last name I had prepared, which by prepared I mean I thought as this call was beginning, was the cucumber. How about that? How does that strike you?
I like that I'm the cucumber and not just cucumber.
Well, you're not a cucumber, just any ordinary one. You're the cucumber.
Right. I appreciate the definite article there.
Guys, the last episode of Dice Funk, which is the longest we've ever done.
Because it was two.
It was not only was it two, it was the longest by itself before I sewed another episode onto it.
Oh.
It was nuts, and we lost.
You're welcome for that.
That was crazy. I don't know if you're leaving this in, Leon, but if you are, I just want to say that it's jumped the rails of D&D. It's basically just a radio drama now. Like D&D is the structure, but I would recommend it to even people who don't give a shit about D&D because it is a proper story now. Has twists and characterization and arcs. It's a proper thing, and I've been recommending it to my normal friends, and they're even they like it. It's something that I'm actually super proud that we do together.
Yay! I feel vindicated as a writer.
Does that mean you're not proud of the BT podcast and Word Funk?
I have mixed feelings. I think we do some funny shit, and I like it, but I don't recommend this to my normal friends.
Oh, no, God, no, this is stupid.
No, it is super stupid, and that's the difference. I would recommend Dice Funk to a normie. This is it's fun that we do it together, and there are people who like it, but it's it's our little club.
All right, guys, I'm gonna talk about a thing.
Ooh, is it the X-Files?
No, we're not gonna do that.
Ooh, is it Gundam?
Wait, we're not doing X-Files at all?
No, we can't do that every week. So we decided 2 weeks ago that we do it once a month.
But but the new episode's just premiered.
I understand that, but some of us haven't watched it and can't possibly talk about it, remember?
You haven't watched the new episodes, Leon?
I told you I can't watch them until I'm finished watching the entire regular series because I don't. So I'm.
See, I always operated on the assumption that you already had watched.
I've watched everything except the last 2 seasons of X-Files, but here's
this changes everything.
But here's the other thing. I don't remember a lot of it because I was a child when I watched it. So I watched the first season the other day, and I'm like, yeah, I remember this vaguely because I was a tot when I watched it.
Okay, well, Leon, I'm going to do you a favor here, and I'm going to give you the rundown on what the X-Files is about. All right? So it's about these dudes who are like, I think these other dudes are doing stuff. And then they try to track down whether or not these other dudes are doing stuff. And then it turns out these other dudes are doing stuff.
We agreed we would not do this.
You're breaking the deal, Johnny.
Yeah. No, I do have something to talk about, and oddly enough, it also involves aliens. Here's what's happening the past few weeks, in my home. I've been getting mail. Sometimes I get mail for people who apparently used to live here. Someone named Diane used to live here, and sometimes I get mail for her because she hasn't gotten her shit together in the many years that I have lived here. And that's
classic
fine.
Diane.
Yeah, Diane.
It's like, whatever, I just throw it away, and I never even open it because why bother? And my life moves on from there. There's no way to track this person down, and if there is, I don't feel like it. So, but here's the other thing. I've been getting mail for Diane from time to time for like 3 years now, but suddenly I've started getting mail for someone named David. And although I've never said my birth name on this podcast before, I can tell you, if just to narrow it down, my name's not David. So this is an entirely new person who people think lives here.
I like Diane better.
Yeah, Diane was fine. She just left my shit alone because she lives somewhere else now. But David suddenly is having Scientology pamphlets and literature sent to my home. Now, here's two scenarios why this is happening, okay? I want us to think about this very carefully. One scenario, which is entirely plausible, is that David, who is a Scientologist or wants to be a Scientologist.
I'm dedicating some thought to this.
Who he either wants to be a Scientologist or is a Scientologist, and he just did a typo in the form or the whatever it is you type in, and really David lives really close to me, and he's just missing out on all of his Scientology stuff. But the other possibility is that David changed his address in the big Scientology mainframe on his way to escape, and he just chose something at random, and I have been getting all of his shit while he has been on the lam. I don't know which is more plausible, honestly. You would think it would be the first one, but I don't know. So, I didn't open the first few things that came for me for David from the Scientology people, from the Church of Scientology, because I don't care, and I don't want to be a Scientologist, and I don't have half a minute to read a pamphlet about something I don't want.
But surely your thirst for knowledge is unquenchable to the point that at some time during this week you found it irresistible.
Well, here's the thing. Normally I just throw junk mail away, and this counts. But they sent me, and by me I mean David, they sent David a full-sized, big-ass magazine. And honestly, it's the first periodical that has been sent to me, even by accident, in a very long time, because that's not really a thing anymore. I was under that impression. So
no, I still get mailed magazines, actually.
That's totally fine. But I guess I'm done with paper, is what I'm trying to say. Anyway, not the point.
Leon, I didn't want to call you out in front of all our listeners, Leon.
Yeah.
I've been meaning to say this for a while, but I've been worried about your Satan level. I'm just, look, as a friend, I think maybe you could use some Scientology in your life. You got to get right with Xenu.
Okay. Well, here's what's going on. I decided to take it out of its plastic wrapper and open it up and take a look inside. I am both in awe, but also super disappointed. And I'll explain why. First of all, let me tell you about the cover. And I realize that we're on the radio, so this is just the way people are going to have to deal with it. The cover says, International Scientology News, New Year's 2016. Now, both the cover and the big story inside is all about the fact that Scientology has been spreading a lot lately. The key issue...
Apparently so is syphilis.
Is the key issue here to the Church of Scientology is not that they're spreading the good news and the word and doing great deeds around.
Not that I'm equating the two. Sorry, I just need to interrupt. I don't want to say that I'm saying Scientology is like syphilis, but they're both spreading.
Right. No, I understand.
Syphilis isn't for profit, Johnny.
That's what you think.
Right. Explain prostitution. So anyway,
Fuck.
the point I'm trying to make is that the big everything about this book, or at least the first half of this magazine, and it's pretty heavy, is basically just trying to tell you how big they're getting. And I feel like when I'm reading religious literature, and I'm not, but when I'm reading religious literature, I assume there'd be like a lot of neat anecdotes and like cool personal stories about your relationship with whatever deity you like.
Like this great badness!
At least the first half of this magazine is really just, it's like, it reads like, and I know this is like, fodder for jokes, but it reads like a business magazine about how big the business got in the last few years. And, I mean, this isn't really what I expect from religious literature.
Where there's one of those classic line graphs with the red arrow that's going up, and they're like, very nice fiscal quarter.
It's actually a series of pictures about where they've gone and photoshopped with a lot of like fakey fireworks around them to make it look even more magnificent. Here's the unfortunate thing, and here's the right page. The unfortunate thing about this is that the rest of it reads kind of like stereo instructions, where all the words are in the language that you speak, but you don't really understand it because it's very technical. So I'm gonna read something to you, and you try to tell me what this means. Now let me get through all of it before you interject, because
that doesn't sound like us at all.
No,
yeah, that's gonna be hard.
All right. Let me just try to explain this, because it's you have to really wrap your head around it. This says, if your next step... Oh, I'm sorry. Let me read the title. Your swift ascent to OT starts here, no matter where you are on the bridge. If your next step is the survival rundown, go to your local org. The golden age of Tech Phase 2 purification rundown and survival rundown are in place. Do the purification rundown in just a few weeks, then co-audit the survival rundown intensively for the greatest gains and fastest completion. The lower bridge to clear. Move through your grades and new era Dianetics auditing to clear the NED case completion at your local org, or at your AOSH, Advanced Org St. Hill, in just weeks. I could go on. I know like half of these words. I understand that like in the syntax is fine. Like everything here like makes sense as sentences in the English language. But all of these words are so jargony that I don't know what any of it means.
I actually do. Have you ever seen the documentary Going Clear?
I have.
Yeah,
but
I got a lot of that.
I have, but how do I put this? I understand some of the basics of this stuff, having seen that documentary, having read some other things about Scientology. A lot of it's just, but these words are just, it's like word salad.
It's like reading an article about MOBAs. Like, even if I know like lanes and feeding and all those kind of League of Legends terms, it still sounds like gibberish.
You don't want to do that. You don't want to read any of those articles.
There's so many weird letters, is what I tried to say. This is the last one I'm going to read, because everything is capitalized. For the high-speed progress up the bridge to OT, move all the way up to the bridge to new OT V-audited NED for your OTs at the AOSH. Everything is in place to move you rapidly, even your accommodations. Let me skip down to here. And of course, your AOSH delivers the rest of the bridge through the new OTV, so you are ready to go flag for solo NED or OTs on new OT VI and new OTVII. I realize just now as I'm reading this, they're trying to say Roman numerals. I'm just so used to just all these letters just being letters. So it's really new OT5. So you're ready to go to flag the solo NED to OTs for new OT6 and new OT7. Sorry about that. Okay.
I always wondered when I was going to be ready to go solo NED. But now I feel like someone's really got my back. I feel like properly supported and encouraged. So I think this weekend I'm gonna go for it, you guys.
I'm trying to.
I gotta break out the BMX. All right, we're gonna get the fireworks, the flares, start the barbecue up, and I'm gonna go solo NED. Let's do it. I should probably shave first, though, don't you think?
You should bring some OTCs to the BBQ.
That's a GI.
We're bad at this. So, I mean, are we done with, like, we all just accepted that Scientology is a profit cult, right? There's like not any more meat on those bones comedy wise.
Well, I think we could just say garbage factory at this point in time.
Here's the thing. We poke gentle fun at various religions on this show. And that's fine. I think that's perfectly fine to have a bit of a laugh at something that's silly. But I wanted to make it clear, I don't have problems with individual Scientologists. Like, I don't hate Beck. He's fine. Some of his music is good, and some of it is not. The issue is more with my issue is more with the system of harassment that is run by the leaders, the Church of Scientology. Just as you know, I don't have a problem with Catholics because, I mean, I was raised as one. I do have a problem with some of the practices of the Catholic Church. There is a huge distinction to make, and I want our audience to understand that. I don't want to bag on anyone, his religion, because 9 times out of 10, their religion is just the thing that their parents were. And it's more cultural than spiritual for, I think, many, many people.
And most religions don't hurt people. Like people just go to a building on a certain day and say some words. But like Scientology, like actively ruins families.
Yeah, there have been instances of that. So that sucks. I wanted to keep it light, but yeah, you're right. There has been some monstrous happenings within their church. Oh well. So anyway, I just wanted to share that because that's a thing that's been happening to me for the past few days. Praise Xenu, and what's next on the docket tonight?
Oh my god, we have so much to talk about. I played video games, I watched stuff, there's been all kinds of weird news stories. I have like 30 questions. Where do you guys even want to start?
Let's do video games. We don't very much, and I actually played a bunch.
Oh shit.
So, yeah, you know how many more video games than normal I played?
All
4,
of the ones
3,
you played?
5.
You can't guess 3 times. Normally I play 1 video game a week. I played 4. So that's like significantly. That's about as many as I usually play in a year. So
yeah, the lightning around them.
Yeah. No, Austin, why don't you start because you might have more to say as a more video gamey guy.
I played 2 games this past week. I know.
I'm just playing. Go ahead.
I'm such a casual fuckboy. One of them, I think, at least Johnny's played. It's Grim Fandango.
That's right.
I did not enjoy it. It has some really cool style. I like the ideas. I think Tim Schafer is a funny writer, but the puzzles are abysmal. Like, LucasArts died for a reason. Wow. Do you have any feelings about Grim Fandango's puzzles? Because I think we're just going to agree it has like style for days. Like the Dia de los Muertos stuff is pimp, but
adventure games were a very curious thing in the 1980s and 1990s. It wasn't really so much like the task of playing an adventure game wasn't so much about finding out a problem as it was like trying to profile a serial killer. Except instead of a serial killer, in this case, it was whoever designed the puzzles.
Like
all of those cliche scenes that you see in like police procedurals and like serial killer movies where they're standing in front of like a giant chalkboard or whiteboard or like, pinup board that has like, pictures of them as a kid and then like pictures of their first crime scene and then a map with like arrows and lines and big red pins. And the detective who's got, who's on the spectrum, obviously, is standing in front of the board and going, "Talk to me, you son of a bitch."
You have to Will Graham your way through these.
That was what 1980s and 1990s adventure game puzzles were like. Was that it's like instead of doing the reasonable thing, like I think one of my favorites, probably one of the most classic examples of adventure game puzzle gone awry comes from the third Gabriel Knight game, Blood of the Sacred, Blood of the Damned, where in order to
My upcoming metal album title, by the way.
Yeah. In order to rent a moped, you like travel to France and you come across a tour group there that just so coincidentally has one of your old friends from where you come from, New Orleans in Louisiana. You have to masquerade as this old friend because as part of the tour group, he has a bunch of mopeds booked. So you have to steal his passport to prove that you're him. But then you need to dress up as him. And he has a mustache. Okay. All right. So quite literally, the solution to this puzzle is, and stop me when things get stupid,
Okay.
attach a piece of duct tape. Well, not duct tape, sorry, Scotch tape to the top of a hole in the bottom of a fence. Frighten a cat so that this cat travels through this hole and on its way through loses some of the cat hair on this strip of Scotch tape that you have so strategically placed.
All right, it's already stupid because you can't predict cats.
Then
They're the roguest of animals.
Then take this piece of Scotch tape with newly affixed cat hair to it and apply it to your lips.
Instead of just buying a fake mustache?
Johnny, you said to stop you when it gets stupid. If I tell you it's stupid, will you just please stop?
That's pretty much it. That's it. In no world is that in no universe even is that a sensible solution to the puzzle. I need to fake having a mustache, as opposed to being like, oh, I shaved my mustache off.
The one that got me in Grand Fandango is you have to cut a whole entire ocean liner in half using 2 anchor chains, and It's like, sorry physics, you take a walk. We're doing something fucking preposterous here. I don't know. I really wish the game was more fun.
It's a classic. And this is the thing is that if you can get past those adventure game puzzle tropes and things like that, there's loads in it that you should love. But man, adventure games have gotten more than just a little bit better since then.
Yeah, the other game I played, I don't think either of you have played. Actually, I would bet real live money that neither of you have played. It's Yokai Watch for the 3DS.
Nope.
However would you guess?
Neither of you even own 3DSs. 3DSi. I don't know what the plural is. It's as everyone says, it's like, oh, it's the new Pokemon. It's taken Japan by storm for years now. Like the last Yokai Watch film outsold Star Wars: The Force Awakens in Japanese theaters. It's a bona fide phenomenon. I like it a lot. It is very Pokemon, but it also has a really strong identity of its own, being based on Japanese mythology instead of animals. Also, the battle system is way different. You don't directly control your people. Instead, you kind of micromanage formations and stuff. I don't want to bore you with all technical details, but it's not as much like Pokemon as I was led to believe. It's just kind of the basic idea of collecting a team of cool monsters. One thing I will say though is people get mad when Pokemon designs are weird, like the ice cream Pokemon or the keychain Pokemon. Yokai Watch is all weird, so it sticks to that aesthetic the whole way through. Like there is a yokai who is just a butt. His name is Cheek Squeak.
Wait. Butt yokai?
Yeah, it's just a butt. It's just a butt, guys. Like that's the level of weird the whole game operates at. So it can do weird shit that Pokemon can't get away with.
I just looked it up, and I think you're underselling it a little. It's not just a butt. It is a butt with a hairdo that looks like a little piece of poop, and it has legs and tiny pants. So it's not just like physically a butt. It is a butt face. So let's give it the credit that it's due.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't want to like belabor the point, but it's a butt, guys.
Such a butt.
It's the buttest. Also, it evolves. Do you want to know what it evolves into?
I would love to know what the butt evolves into.
It evolves into another butt. It's called cut and cheese.
I'm looking it up right now.
Okay,
How do I spell this?
I'll put the spelling in the chat
Thank
because
you.
it's a lot to spell out verbally. It doesn't look that much different. It's just basically like a different coloration, like a palette swap. It has like I think it has a mustache or some shit. I don't know, guys.
Whoa. On a butt?
Guys, this game is super weird. I like it. It also has some elements from like Ni no Kuni, where you instead of like throwing Pokeballs to capture new guys, you kind of just battle them until the random number generator says they're your friend now, which I'm not super jazzed about, but
I gotta say, I'm really disappointed in the evolution of cut and cheese. Looks almost identical. I feel like not enough effort was given there. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna play this game now.
it's yeah, that's a breaking point for Leon. He was
Yeah.
totally on board. Yeah, it's basically just a palette swap almost.
Yeah.
There are some really cute dudes in there though. There's this bat, and then it evolves into a bat in a house. It's called a Boda bat, and it's just like a bat that's stuffed in a house. I don't know how to explain this in any other way besides just literal.
I can only assume like the marketing meeting there was someone was like, ugh, bat, that's so scary. What would be worse than like seeing a bat and someone says, if it were in your house, and someone's like, that's the one. So I don't know. I'm there. This is a portable game, right?
Yeah, it's 3DS.
Okay, there's literally no way I'll ever play it. But thank you.
It's really cute. I have a team full of kitties. They're all really good puns too. Nintendo localized it for level 5, and they brought out their pun masters for this. Well, actually, we're going to talk about Nintendo's localization later. That train done left the station this week. But it's basically just Pokemon with more puns, which is already a feat in and of itself. But I'll stop talking about this because neither of you have played it. Leon,
Yeah.
you played games.
Yeah.
One in particular, I think you've corrected a just wrong opinion you had. You had an opinion that was really wrong. And you've realized it.
It's not a wrong opinion. It's just that here's the thing. I don't dislike playing The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword, but I don't like it enough to play for another 50 hours.
Because it's not good.
It's not good. It's just it's like a mild thrill, like an Epcot ride. It's like yeah, this is fine.
It's like taking
look what refrigerators might look like in 50 years.
Yeah, I it's Zelda, so the thrill of playing Zelda is there just because I love Zelda so much. But it's like this is lesser Zelda, like Four Swords Adventures level of Zelda. Although that was a little more exciting.
It's just going through the motions, and you're like, I recognize this progression. This is a thing I have enjoyed previously. Like that's not enough.
It's not even that. When people said like, oh, Twilight Princess, that's very similar to Ocarina of Time. It's like, yeah, but it was good.
I can't take any more of your wrong opinions about Zelda.
But this I'm just not feeling it. Like, there's something very it doesn't seem like I'm on an adventure. It feels like I'm stuck somewhere, and their adventures are happening.
Well, that's no good.
No.
Yeah, Zelda is the main character. You just aren't with her while she's doing the stuff.
Yeah, she's probably doing something amazing, and I'm just kind of like following her around. I'm like Rosencrantz at this point. I'm just kind of like, stuff's happening near me. Okay, so anyway, I'm not gonna play it all the way through because it's a lot of hours out of my life.
Oh man, you're gonna miss out when they recycle that boss 3 times.
So I mean, maybe one day I'll play it again if they like release it in HD and make it not as bad.
Is it not in HD already?
No, it's a Wii game. It's like a regular Wii game. So besides Skyward Sword, which I'm just not playing anymore, I have a follow up to explain why Dark Dreams don't die. doesn't work very well for me. It's because my computer does not meet the minimum system requirements to play this game, which explains a lot. Here's the thing, though. This is not a graphics-intense game. It has, like, GameCube level graphics, and maybe not even that. Nor is it, like a fast-paced, like, we need all the frames kind of game. It's like you walk, you know, and not even well. The way you walk is also bad.
Aren't you like on some kind of weird energy meter? Like you can only do so many things before collapsing from exhaustion?
Yeah. If you like eat a banana, it like destroys you. But the thing is, like,
to be fair, when I eat a banana, that happens to me anyways, but for different reasons.
The game itself is like, it is amusing to me, but I can't play it. So I'm just going to keep it in my Steam library until one day I have a better computer, and then I'll just play it then. So all is not lost. I just can't play it right now.
We're gonna have to revoke your PC gamer card, Leon.
I feel pretty good about that because it was my idea. That was my Christmas gift, one of my Christmas gifts to Leon. So, and he liked it for once. I feel vindicated.
Yeah, it's fine. It's just for me temporarily broken.
Yeah,
but
so I feel bad about that.
No, you're fine. You could not have possibly guessed this small game would not work on my computer. It's like someone saying like Braid doesn't work on my computer. It's like it work on everything.
You're surprised that a sweary product isn't properly optimized?
I don't know. This is almost impossible, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. The joke is, Leon, that Deadly Premonition was fucking busted on PC as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, I will actually buy a new computer eventually because I'm thinking about playing certain games that I can't currently play, and I would rather buy a new PC than a PlayStation 4. But that's down the road. Anyway, not the point. The point is, I played and completed an entire game in one sitting, which is unheard of for me, and it is Her Story. I sat down and I said, oh, this is neat. I don't have to do much, but I already know exactly how to play. So learning curve was simple. Basically, I played it like this. I mean, for those who've never played it, a screen pops up and you're in like an old 90s computer and you are watching testimony from someone who may or may not have committed a crime. And the computer is also not optimized very well, and you have to like search for different words in the search bar, and to have certain files pop up that correspond to different points when she has made testimony. The
game is a video clip search engine.
It is. But if you don't pay attention, you'll miss shit. So the way I played it was like a detective. I had a little piece of paper next to me and a pen, and every time she said a name or a place or a date or a word that sounded important, I would just write it down. And I never ran out of things to search for, and I got lots and lots of clips. And after only 2 hours, actually less than that, a thing popped up and said, do you basically know what's going on? I'm like, mostly. And the game said, you may as well have won. And then the credits rolled. I'm like, good enough! I won!
Oh my god, Leon.
So that was great.
Yeah, I beat it in about an hour and a half. It's a pretty simple game. I think that's one of its strengths, is that anyone can basically come to it and play detective. I think the story itself, when you start digging into the details, falls apart a little bit, but I think it's a really novel experience. It was one of my games of the year. I think it's like 8 or 9th out of 10, so I liked it a lot.
Yeah, I mean, you can do worse than a cheap game that requires minimal effort but is somehow still kind of engrossing. I was engaged with what was going on, like to the point that, like I said, I play games for a half an hour, and even if I'm really into it, I'm done. And that's it. It's like, okay, I have other things to do with my life. But I was like, yeah, maybe just one more word. Maybe just one more word. And then, like, seriously, less than 2 hours later, it's like, oh, the credits. Good enough. So that was a thing.
I think it's funny that we can say that 2015 saw the best FMV game released. Who saw that coming?
I've said on previous episodes, I think full motion video is like a thing that if used better, could result in some interesting stuff, and someone thought of something. So good for them. It doesn't always have to be just double switch, everyone.
Yep.
Although double switch rocks.
It shouldn't be double switch. It should be things like Her Story, and kudos on them for working it in.
Yeah. Anyway, I also played Hotline Miami 2. It's just like Hotline Miami 1 in terms of gameplay. There's other story elements that are different, but for the most part, it's the exact same controls, and I'm fine with that. I'm totally okay with something being similar but mildly different enough that it's worth buying as a standalone game and not as DLC. That's how I feel about like Mega Man, and that's how I feel about this. My hope is that the developer of this, will their next game is not Hotline Miami 3. I want them to make
it is not.
Good. I want them to make something else, and then they can make Hotline Miami 3 in a couple more years after that, so that they don't become like a Five Nights at Freddy's sort of exhaustive kind of thing. So good. And that's what I did in terms of video games this week. Johnny, did you play anything?
Oh, not really. No. I was really quite ill last week. I made a comment on Twitter the other day about like how that session of Dice Funk that we were talking about, I did hooped on cold medicine.
Which didn't come across at all, honestly. I didn't even suspect.
Yeah.
No, because I was really worried. I was worried that I was gonna be like, it's a door.
No, you were on point.
It opens. So in hindsight, that's what I kind of felt like it was. I was like, oh god, oh man, this is gonna be terrible. But yeah, I spent a lot of like last week. I was home from work on Thursday and Friday, and it was basically bed, couch, and X-Files on Netflix.
Yeah,
like
I watched the new X-Files. I know Leon doesn't want to talk about it, but
motherfucker.
I won't. I'm just saying. I watched some of the old stuff on Netflix, and I was like, oh my god, I can't do this. There's too much of it. But I did watch the new one. Sorry, we can't talk about it, everyone. I know you were really excited to hear.
You got no backbone, Yorsky. You're like, 9 seasons of a show. I'm busy.
Listen, guys, I come to this show every week with way more shit, new cool shit to talk about than either of you. You know what? And that's because I don't commit my time to one block of the same thing. I try to spread myself out.
I have shit to talk about. It's that whenever I have stuff to talk about, nobody likes it anymore.
Speaking of that, Leon, what's your problem with the Expanse, bro?
All right. Before I tell you,
I believe the phrase that you used was intensely disliked it.
Yeah.
I can see if it's just not your thing, but like that's strong.
Okay. All right. Here's the thing. Now let's play a game that only I will enjoy. It's called Guess Why Leon Didn't Like a TV Show. Based on what you've known about me over the past few years, and the thing I say about TV shows from
it doesn't look like a movie.
It looks yes. I don't really like the way it looks. Actually, it's not even the fact that it doesn't look like.
Did I win?
Yeah, you won. Do
I get the home game?
You get the Leon points. What happens? No, it's not even that it looks like it was shot terribly. My biggest issue with the show, visually, is that everything in space was in a blue-gray wash, and it just completely took me out of it. And I couldn't distinguish one person from another. Even the people who were looked nothing like each other. It was like, okay, but what is your function in this scene? Blue mass. And I just hated it so much.
That's weird, because one of the things I like about the show is that it has a really diverse cast. Also, can we talk about that woman's voice? Holy hell.
Yeah, the UN's, what is it, the Deputy Secretary General?
That is, oh my god, I want that to be like my Siri. Her voice is amazing.
Yeah. Here, the other problem I have with the pilot is that, how do I put this? It was
you're an old curmudgeon. I think that's.
It was such a pilot, because they tried to introduce about 20 different characters, and I just want to follow the detective.
No, it's just not that kind of show. It's like a Game of Thrones. There are like 3 fronts of the story happening simultaneously. I can understand, Leon, if it's not your thing.
I don't want that at all. No.
I think it's a very good example of what it is. But I just don't think it's your kind of thing. I find it hard to believe that you think it's a legitimately bad show.
I think I just watched it and it was like, this is kind of shit. Now that being said, I bet it gets much better. Like once everything is laid out, they're like, oh, and now lots of other things can happen. Here's the thing though, I don't have time for that in my life.
You motherfucker! You've watched 100 seasons of Star Trek. What are you talking about?
And it was good.
You are full of garbage.
Yeah, it was good, but that was.
I don't know, Leon. Speaking of, like, you know, if we're gonna talk about The Expanse, I think they aired their 8th episode last night.
Yeah.
And Star Trek has had like a whole shit ton of stuff. I'm willing to bet that there is way more shit in Star Trek at this point in time than there is in 8 episodes of The Expanse.
Yeah, there's only so many hours in the day, and there's only so many days in the week. And if a show doesn't get good on episode 1, I'm probably going to try a different show. Like
every first entire season of Star Trek.
Yes,
unsalvageable.
I understand what you're saying, and I've said that in the past, and I don't disagree with you. However, my tastes were different as a child, and I could sit through a lot of stuff because there wasn't shit on. So
now
I can sit
now, through... Austin, now asking for like, I don't know, maybe 4 episodes to check and see if it's get better is like, that's way too much.
I understand, like it's been grandfathered in. Like I can watch like Power Rangers or some shit because I grew up with it.
Yeah.
Because it's bad, but like it means something to me. I get that. I just want to bust Leon's stupid pruny little balls.
That's fine. You don't know what my balls look like. All right, all right. Here's the other thing. But no. Seriously, we're living in such a great age of television that if a show doesn't grab me right away, I don't want to invest that much time in it. And and like I said, it probably does get much better, but I don't want to. Here by contrast, I watched the first episode of Master of None the other day, and I'm like, oh, that was funny. I will continue to watch this. And then I binged the whole thing, and now I'm done like 2 days later.
I couldn't get down on Master of None. Aziz Ansari rubs me the wrong way.
That's fine. And if you watch one episode and the main character is not your thing at all, then absolutely don't watch the whole thing.
I watched like 3 episodes. I wanted to like it because it has it's very honest about like kind of my age group's like experiences. They get really into like race stuff, and there's a cool diverse cast. One of the main characters is a lesbian and stuff. Yeah. It's just like in Parks and Rec, Aziz was playing a character and everyone acknowledged like he was a fucking twat. but like now that he's himself and he's the same.
And again, I'm gonna be, I'm being a hypocrite when I say this, but if you watch the rest of the season, he's not like that at all.
But Leon, I'm afraid I just don't have time to dedicate to something that doesn't grab me in the first 30 minutes.
I agree.
We're getting catty.
No, I completely agree. If you don't like it in the first couple episodes, then no, there's no.
Oh, okay, all right. So I have to give it a couple episodes then.
No, your mileage may vary. With me, a full hour of in that spaceship that I didn't like was enough for me.
I think a slap fight's about to break out.
It was more than one spaceship, Leon.
I know there were. It
was Earth, and then there was also Ceres base, and then there was the Canterbury. So
on Earth for 5 minutes, and that was the most color the show had.
Can I just say though, I'm not even talking about Master of None specifically. Like I'm talking about even his stand-up. Like Aziz, really? He's the same. Like that's him. Like Master of None is autobiographical by his own admission. Like that's his personality, and it's insufferable.
If you don't like him, that's totally fine. I think he's funny, and I like the show. And if you're not into him, you will not be into a show that is partly autobiographical.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm not going to bust your tiny prune balls about Master of None. If you're not into it, you're just not into it.
I wish I was though.
I thought I watched the first 2 episodes of Master of None actually, and I was kind of siding with Austin until I realized I had accidentally put on Making of a Murderer.
Oh my god!
I was like, this isn't funny at all.
I was just talking about this with someone earlier. It's like when I walked away from Making a Murderer. Like, have you finished it, Leon?
Oh yeah.
All right. I mean, I'm not going to fully spoil it for everybody who's listening, but like what they wanted you to take away from that was like whether or not the main character was innocent or guilty. But that's not at all what like matters to me, because obviously the documentary is super biased in one direction.
Yeah.
But it's the way a minor character gets treated. There's this like teenager who's like developmentally challenged.
Yeah.
And the way that he is treated in this is so monstrous that like that is the point where I feel like everyone should be super outraged, like rather than the main point about this guy who like murdered a cat or some shit and like threatened someone with a gun. Like that guy is not someone who I'm willing to go to bat for. Like that's not a hill I want to die on. But what the police did to that teenager is super fucked up. That's the thing that like has haunted me about that since I watched it like a month ago.
Okay. All right. And just
But
to
you
go
can
back,
agree that it's not funny, right?
Fuck you, Johnny.
no, just to go back. Austin, much like you wanted to like Master of None but did not, for your own reasons, I really wanted to like The Expanse because I want to watch a cool sci-fi show. It's just not gonna be that one. It's not. I didn't go in thinking, I bet I'm gonna hate this shit. I was like, oh, Johnny usually knows good sci-fi. I will probably like this, and then I didn't. It was not like a rage thing. I was just disappointed.
I know.
It makes me sad, Leon.
I'm sorry.
It makes me sad.
We're gonna jump to questions pretty soon, but I just want to hit you guys with a recommendation real quick. Can I do that?
Yeah, what up?
Because I know Johnny, you don't get much time for anime, and Leon, you don't like especially action anime. But I just watched an anime recently that was not action, and it's pretty good, and I think you guys might get a kick out of it. It's called Death Parade, and it actually, it started as it was like some kind of entry for like a competition or something, or some kind of like short thing, some showcase, and it was like a winner, so they fleshed it out to a whole series. And it's almost like a short story collection because most of the episodes don't connect except for this kind of framing device. What this show is about, and this isn't really spoilers, it's revealed in the first episode, is that it takes place in like the waiting room in the afterlife. So every episode, like 2 recently deceased people show up and they have to play a game, and they're told that like the stakes are like their souls, whether they go to like heaven or hell. And it turns out that it's not whether they win the game, it's how they conduct themselves during it. So like every episode, it's not. This is all explained. This is all explained in the first episode and also in the original animation. But so it's like a short story collection of like every episode you meet 2 new characters and they're like their stories kind of unfold, and you kind of.
If somebody was interested in visiting this Death Parade, how would one go about doing it?
I think I watched it on Hulu. It might be on Crunchyroll.
Okay. I have Hulu.
It's really recent. It was done by Madhouse, the people who did like Trigun and Death Note, and I think they did One Punch Man as well. So the animation is outstanding. The music's great. It's a really, really like well done series. It's also really sad. The only like continuing storyline is the people who conduct the game. They have like a little bit of development, but it's not really the point of the show so much as just these vignettes. It's kind of.
How many episodes are there, and is there like a second season, or is this like most anime and there's like you're just done?
It's like 12 or 13, and it concludes, but I wouldn't be impossible to bring it back. I don't know if they are, but it has a satisfying conclusion as far as I'm concerned.
All right, I've written it down as a possibility.
Okay. That's just something I wanted to throw at you guys.
It sounds like a sad Twilight Zone.
It is. It's that. That's a really good description.
Some Twilight Zone episodes are really sad and really good.
No, I just mean like, it sounds like it would be a Twilight Zone hosted by like a really mopey Rod Serling. Imagine if you will, or don't. It's okay.
I love how Rod Serling says robot. He says robot the way that Zoidberg says it. Okay.
That's totally an old-timey thing.
Yeah.
Leon, do you want to read your questions? Do you want me to hit you with mine? What's going on?
I will start with mine, if only because mine will create an entirely new topic that I wanted to talk about anyway.
Nice.
Yeah, I know. It worked out. Someone said, opinion on the Rumble. Guys, last week we talked about how none of us watched WWE, even though someone wanted us to talk about it. I watched the Royal Rumble on Sunday.
My Twitter feed went bananas. The way it went banana sandwiches. What the hell happened? That was so ridiculous.
No, it was a surprisingly strong show. All I know about WWE lately is that people say it's not good anymore, and that it's just been put together really poorly. But Royal Rumble was a solid show. It was like the first bit of wrestling I've watched in years. But I was like, you know what? Maybe we were just talking about it the other day. Maybe I will try to watch wrestling again because it's something I bet I could put on in the background while I do important shit, but then look at it while something I actually care about happens. And but I actually did sit down and focus my attention on watching the pay-per-view itself. And it was good. There's a couple people that were working in the independents when I was interested in watching this stuff are now in WWE, and they had a really good match, and there was a lot of funny goofiness, which I appreciate.
And did anyone get hit with a chair?
Yes, like a bunch of times. Someone wrapped a chair around someone's head and then kept punching the chair into his face. It was great.
10 out of 10. Would chair again.
Yeah. So it was good. It was actually a pretty solid show in terms of like actual, work, like work rate. The reason that people were upset at the end is because Triple H, who is a 46-year-old man and probably shouldn't be wrestling anymore, and is married to the daughter of Vince McMahon, and has been for many, many years. This is not a recent development. He basically made himself champion. This isn't the first time he's been champion. He was like a main event kind of guy during his heyday. But he decided that he should just be champion now heading into WrestleMania. Because Cena is injured and they're putting all their money behind the new babyface of the company, a guy named Roman Reigns.
And his name is John Cena?
No, his name is...
Did I do that meme right? Did I do it right, guys?
Your timing was way off. It didn't work. So they're trying to push this guy named Roman Reigns as like the big face of the company. And the problem with that is he's not a great worker. Like, he can't do everything very well. He can't talk for shit, which is something you want in your upper level guy. You need to be able to do...
Yeah, even I know that. Like...
You need to be able to do one or the other. You need to be either a fantastic talker or like a very athletic guy who can do a lot of cool stuff, or both. And if you can't do either, you're just inexplicably popular. He is not popular, though. People boo him, and he's supposed to be the good guy of the company.
So you're telling me that he's a pile of moist trash?
Yeah.
So wait, he fails on every level?
Well, you know what? I bet if I watched more...
Something that you put down somewhere, and then like an hour later you come back to it, and it inexplicably has its own sweat on it, and you're like, what the hell?
I bet if I look deep into his
eyes.
No. I bet if I look into his...
Loving you is easy 'cause you're...
No, I'm saying if I watch like lots and lots of his matches, I bet I could find some that are okay. But having seen him wrestle a couple times now, he seems like passable. Like he's like, yeah, he's okay. He generally knows what he's doing, but he's not exciting at all.
I like the idea of pasty white boys talking shit about the athleticism of men who could break us in half like toothpicks.
Look, he has a look about him, like he's a big muscular dude, but there are lots of big muscular dudes. It doesn't, I don't find that particularly impressive.
He's a sweaty muscle bro.
I don't find him that interesting, basically. I did watch Raw the night afterwards, because I apparently have USA, even though I never like use TV anymore, but I did. I watched Monday Night Raw live, which is 3 fucking hours now.
What did it used to be?
It used to be 2. It was like a 2-hour show. I mean, that's...
Oh, well, geez, I'm sorry that they moved it to 3. That's way too excessive.
Look, no, look, there's
There's a pretty big difference, Johnny.
There's a big difference between watching, like, say, a movie that's 2 hours long, which is, like, standard, and watching a 3-hour epic. One needs an intermission and the other sort of doesn't.
Look, all I'm saying is that if you could stomach 2 hours of wrestling beforehand, you're probably well on track to be able to do 3 no problem.
You would think so, and yet it started to drag. The only reason that Monday Night Raw did not like collapse was the fact that The Rock came back after an absence, and he did a long promo.
Could you smell what he was cooking?
I did.
Fuck you. That's exactly what I was gonna say, you dick.
And Rock can wrestle like he's exciting in the ring, and obviously he's a great talker. He's kind of someone you
and those eyebrows.
He's
my favorite wrestle boy.
He's good.
If I was gonna watch a greased up man jump around an elastic ring for a while, I'd watch him.
Yeah, he was good. Raw was a solid show, also. So I feel like I'm just going to keep watching professional wrestling over the next few weeks until I either get tired of it or I really get back into it, and it's just a thing that's part of my life again.
New nickname, Leon Slipping Standards Thomas.
It's I don't know. I find it. How do I put this? I like that I like the idea of having a hobby that I don't have to take even remotely seriously. I don't have time for hobbies that much anymore. New movies is, obviously my thing, but it's also my work.
Austin, you've been watching The Expanse, right?
Oh my God, we can't do it.
So that's what I wanted to say. Thank you for your question, Ingmar Grimmen. I know I'm saying that wrong. I'm gonna say like one more question, and then Austin, you can take it away with yours. The little Ingy that could says, if Stanley Kubrick was alive and tasked with directing a Rob Schneider comedy, what would the plot be? Okay, here's the thing. It would be the exact same. It would be any plot that Stanley Kubrick would make. The characters in his movies are not important. I mean, with like one or two exceptions, the characters in like the Stanley Kubrick movies that don't have a lot of dialogue. There's long stretches of silence in his films. So you could have Rob Schneider in a movie that Kubrick wanted to make, and he would be just another character who almost said nothing.
He would finally make that Napoleon movie that he was working on.
Yeah, he could make it.
And he would cast Rob Schneider as Napoleon. Because there would be this frustrated kind of like impotence of a man who was once great that the whole country respected and thought was, funny, fallen so hard and living a life alone in Corsica with a wife that just constantly has affairs on him.
Johnny, I feel like you're giving Rob Schneider too much credit. Was there a time when everyone thought he was funny? Because I feel like there was only a brief period when he was talking about copy machines in which people thought that he was funny.
Yeah, maybe then.
Okay. All right. Anyway, those are the things I wanted to talk about.
I feel like he must have had at least a other funny moment.
I am going to look at his IMDb page while Austin goes to his next question, and I'll report back.
I mean, Schneider had a bunch of bit parts in the funny Adam Sandler movies. Like, he wasn't an untalented dude. It was a much more profitable decision to make bad movies for him, so he did.
Bad movies that he led in, as opposed to funny roles that he was secondary.
Well, I'm gonna try to find something he was in which he had more than a few lines, and I'll report back.
All right.
What do you got for me, Austin?
I was gonna read you a question, Johnny. You're so interrupty.
I'm sorry. I haven't said much this episode, so I just kind of feel like I'm
sorry.
No, it's fine. I'm just, I didn't play any video games. I was sick last week, so I didn't have a whole lot going on. I still have a little bit going on in my sinuses right now, and I didn't sleep well last night, and, the dog died. I don't have a dog. I'm just kidding.
I was about to be really sad.
Nah, I just, I got carried away there for a second.
Okay. I'm glad your non-existent dog is still alive.
Yeah, he's doing just fine, actually. I mean, she's doing just fine.
Oh.
It's doing just fine.
All right.
Whenever there's an episode where I don't talk much, I walk away going, man, escaped that one. Consumerist Skeleton asks, is the Earth really round? Which is a reference to this fucking shit show on Twitter with rapper B.O.B.
That was both an acknowledgement of the beef, I believe is what it's technically called in the industry, as well as my answer.
Okay, I want to say this. In the scientific community, and I think the world at large, everyone believes in evolution, except like this very small minority of people who don't know what they're talking about. But you have to listen to these people because they always have the thing where they say, well, we weren't there. You know, I mean, we weren't around millions of years ago, so we don't know 100%. And I'm like, that can be said about almost anything, but whatever, dude. Here's the thing about the shape of the Earth. We've been to space. We've seen it.
But a flat earther would say that we haven't. And it's just a hoax.
Oh my god.
Like, there's no arguing with people who are dead set on being wrong. That's the crazy shit about, like, especially
you can't take on belief. Yeah,
especially
you can't do it.
With social media, because someone who studies science their entire life, dedicates themselves to it, is like a published scientist, has just as much clout as just a rando who says, I believe this. Like, if you have more followers, like, your opinion gets pushed farther. And specifically in this, B.O.B. called out fucking Neil deGrasse Tyson and then dropped a diss track on him. And then I think Tyson's, like,
nephew.
I don't know if his nephew, I would say
his
just his
nephew was like
fired back with his own fucking retort track. None of them, I listened to them. They're not good, like, either of them. B.O.B.'s kind of one-hit wonder. Like, he had that song, I believe it's called Airplane or Airplanes. That was really hot when I was like a freshman in college, maybe a sophomore. I remember it.
I don't know what you're talking about. Sing a couple bars for me.
I will not.
I'll interject this one thing. Until he said something about the Earth being flat, I had no idea this person existed. Yeah, that's how out of touch I apparently am.
I definitely remember that song. It was everywhere, to the point where I remember Tyler, the Creator, threw him under the bus on Yonkers, talking with some colorful language I won't repeat. But yeah, he was definitely a thing. But he's kind of like a has-been. It's been years since he was relevant. But yeah, I don't know. It's funny that prominent people have bad opinions, but everyone has bad opinions, right? It's just
especially Jenny McCarthy.
Maybe he's trying to like tequila himself and say,
she said
like,
that Earth was flat too, like a week ago.
Yeah, like say the most outlandish, horrible thing to make people remember that person exists.
It's like it's a genuine like strategy to get buzz. I mean, it's that.
Except for Jenny McCarthy, who is actually really well and truly a horrible human being who campaigns against vaccination and has probably done quite a lot of harm and death in her time on this earth.
But that was like, I think she genuinely believes that. Whereas this, I mean,
which makes it like super dangerous.
That's maybe worse.
But I'm saying like this could be like that no press is like bad press thing, like just get people talking about him again. Where she thinks she's doing good, like she's not. But you know what I'm saying? Like it's harder to be mad at people who are earnest because
it's pretty easy to be mad at people who are earnest. It's pretty easy to get.
I understand what you're saying, Austin, but I strongly disagree. I think I think among the worst monsters of history were ideologues, basically.
I mean, I hear you.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that, like, when it comes down to it, some people spew hateful shit because it benefits them, and some do because they think they're right.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna say that flat Earth truthers spew hateful shit so much as they just sort of like, okay, whatever, dude.
They perpetuate this weird anti-science agenda that somehow millions of scientists have gotten together over thousands of years of careful research and created these elaborate hoaxes for...
Let me ask you a question. Do you know anybody who takes them even remotely seriously?
Trump is polling at like 41% right now, Johnny. Shit be crazy out there.
All right, here's the thing. Well, when I mentioned evolution deniers before, I feel like evolution deniers have created some sort of harm to my country and possibly others in certain ways, because there's
evolution's not even up for discussion.
I know
Make two different dogs fuck, and then the dog that comes out will look like a combination of them. Evolution proved.
Okay, I understand that, but what I'm trying to say is that there's a contingent of people who not only believe that sort of thing, but push that politically. Whereas flat Earth people, they don't have a big lobby, is what I'm trying to say.
They don't even have a big front door. Like when you get past the front door, the atrium is really shameful. I wouldn't even call it a lobby.
Yeah. Oh. Thank you for that. We can totally talk about another thing, but I just wanted to say real quick. I do have an update on Rob Schneider and his career.
Sock it to me.
The best movie he's ever been in which he has more than one line that I recall, in my opinion,
right,
was Demolition Man.
Yeah, you see, he was not bad in that.
Yeah, no, he was fine in that, and the movie itself was pretty solid. I mean, not what I'd call a great film, but an enjoyable film, and one that I recall fondly.
Yeah, you think stands the test of time, too. I think, actually, its jokes become a little bit more potent with age.
You're probably right, yeah. Okay, so well done, Rob Schneider. Good choice being in that movie.
I've got you up for my Napoleon biopic when I finally get my hands on that Stanley Kubrick script. Rob, call me.
Do you think Rob Schneider will ever have like a Bill Murray style reinvention of himself and come out like a serious actor in like indie film?
I would say stranger things have happened, but
I'd love to see
but not many.
Okay. Next question. Taylor Hoyt asks. Taylor Hoyt is a friend of the show.
God, Taylor Hoyt.
Hi, Taylor. I love you. I miss you.
He's great.
Yeah. Yes. How badly are SJWs ruining Fire Emblem? Please answer. Okay, thanks.
I don't understand what
well, as resident Fire Emblem expert on this show, Taylor, I think I'm gonna have to say that it's really outraged me that there are humans in it.
Oh, okay. So we've known about this for like 6 months at this point because the game's been out in Japan for forever. But Nintendo recently confirmed some localization changes to the new Fire Emblem, and people are outraged. Let me nutshell this for you. There was a scene in the new Fire Emblem that could be construed as like gay conversion therapy and drugging someone against their will. Like there's wiggle room in the interpretation of it, but it's questionable.
That sounds horrible.
It's bad, and Nintendo jettisoned it.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. That is a very socially conscious move on the part of Nintendo, or whatever their reasoning was. I would say, yeah, that's probably a good idea.
And they left the gay characters in, and you can marry them, which is good.
Wonderful. What a progressive game. Why does anyone have a problem with that?
Okay, well, here, let me finish, Leon. There's another thing. In the Japanese version of the game, there was a mini game you could do, which is basically Pokemon Ami. If you ever played the Pokemon games where you can pet your Pokemon, it's like that, but Fire Emblem. So you can pet your human army comrades. Weird. That's gone in the American game as well. So SJWs have ruined Fire Emblem by taking out the roofing scene and the petting other people in your workplace mini game.
Essentially, the touching your screen.
Yeah, it's actually
part.
It's actually kind of a common trope in some Japanese games that don't get brought over, like rubbing the screen. It's pretty pervasive. We don't really get it much over here, but it's just a thing in some Japanese games. It comes off to us as really creepy, and I've actually heard from some localizers that part of the reason it was gotten rid of maybe was because they weren't Nintendo's localizing it, and they weren't comfortable asking American voice actors to do the related dialogue, which is kind of like sexually suggestive and like breathy. But like in Japan,
Nintendo, call me, I'll do it all.
Japanese voice actors are kind of like a cult of personality unto themselves, like they're celebrities, and they actually, a lot of them do like hentai and like porn games on the side, and they have like, it's not a weird thing to ask them to do that, or it's less of a weird thing. Like they have like dedicated fan bases for that kind of content, where if you ask like Nolan North to talk about heaving bosoms, like he would be weirded out.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I hope that if I asked Nolan North to talk dirty to me for it. Not that I'm
yeah,
gonna. I mean, like we're not friends or anything. I'm not like, hey Nolan, do me a solid, But like, let's say that Nolan North and I develop a very particular relationship between each other. I hope that he would
seems like a
see it
cool
in his
dude. I
heart
think he'd be down.
and help me out.
It sounds like
Yeah, exactly.
It sounds like Nintendo made a lot of reasonable choices, both to acclimate to the culture of American audience and American audiences, as well as just reasonable in a universal kind of way. So,
But Leon, censorship, First Amendment. Can you imagine people who like get DVDs and they go to like the deleted scenes section and they're like, look at all this censorship. They're just getting really mad.
Look, all right, I just want to say something about the lack of boobs that people think exist. Look.
Yo, Fire Emblem's still full of boobs.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. How many more? In that case, how many more boobs do you need?
Leon, it's not that we need more boobs. It's that we need to touch the screen boobs.
Okay.
And this is important. Not just touch the screen boobs, but have the screen boobs react.
Okay.
Because otherwise we might feel that we weren't actually interacting with men and women if for real. We might feel that we were only, just rubbing a screen of a video game.
Okay.
I just put a picture in the chat. It's the most popular female character from the new Fire Emblem. So for listeners, it's Camilla. You can just Google Camilla Fire Emblem. They're not shying away from cleavage, guys. Fire Emblem's still gross.
Yeah, but Austin, I'm rubbing my screen right now, and it's not even doing anything.
She's not jiggling around while her voice
How am I
actress
supposed to?
whimpers.
How am I supposed to feel like a man?
Okay, so long story short, just to make sure I got all of this, they dropped the molestation minigame, and they made it not socially horrible. Also,
Yeah.
Okay, good. Life progresses in an arrow.
So Taylor, the answer is a lot, and I'm going to read a short excerpt from my brand new SJW fantasy novel here that begins like this. First of all, there were no black people, because how unrealistic would that be, right?
Oh my goodness. No. Escape. Eject from this bit.
Okay.
Actually, it's funny because Fire Emblem actually has a history of like really despicable localization changes. Like, I'm sorry to go off on a tangent here, but Lindis and fucking her girlfriend from Fire Emblem 7 were totally retconned in the American version to be straight, and that's bullshit. Florina. They're gay as hell in the Japanese version.
Okay.
So, if anything, we're getting like the best localizations we've ever got, although Nintendo is, I mean, they are what they are. I hope they go further with the gay stuff. Honestly, there's only one.
They've got a couple of scaredy cat points, places that they won't seem to go because I don't know.
They're making slow progress. Like I said, there's one gay character and one lesbian character that you can get into romances with, but there's like a ton of straight characters. I'm not saying that like they should set out to make it 50-50 like as some kind of strange equation or something.
No, they probably sat down and like looked at the statistics.
Yeah.
And they were like, well, I mean, they say that 1 out of every 10, so
I know, but I hear your joke, Johnny, but my thought is like, just because someone's gay doesn't mean if they find another gay person, they're going to be into each other. Like, gay people have preferences too.
Yeah, I know.
They're individuals. Whatever. Baby steps. I'm glad.
It's one of the things. It's one of the things about heterosexual observation of gay culture that it's like once you realize or once you find out that another guy is gay, it's like suddenly you're like, oh my god, was he looking at the D? Be like, No, he was not looking at the D. He finds you culturally reprehensible, actually, and isn't even slightly interested in you as like a biological organism, let alone a romantic option. So the D is fine.
Or it's like, I know a gay guy, let me hook you two up. But it's like, what if they don't like each other? What are you talking about? They might have nothing in common. Another question. Amanda asked, any of you get the chance to play The Witness yet?
I don't know what that is.
It's the new game.
It's Jonathan Blow's new game. He did Braid, weirdly enough. Ooh,
okay. Oh, okay. Right. He's been. I remember he was working on that. It's just been so long since he's been working on that I've forgotten about it.
Yeah, it came out.
Okay, cool. I loved Braid. I thought that was a lot of fun. If this is also a puzzle game, I will be interested. I believe it is. And
The price of this game is a hotly debated topic because it's a like 20-hour indie puzzle game, and people are kind of butthurt that it's $40.
what? That's ridiculous. All right, look.
And yet, a 6-hour Call of Duty single-player campaign is certainly worth like 60 or 70.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Look, my stinginess aside, $40 for a 20-hour game is perfectly fine. In fact, I mean, and Johnny, as Johnny just said, there are plenty of like $50, $60 games that will be run much shorter than that. So that's ridiculous. I mean, what is the argument against this? I mean, I'll hear it.
It mainly circles around this artificial idea that the indie game scene was so great because it promised us like exciting gameplay and new ideas at a much lower price point. And how dare, an indie developer do things like decide that the worth of his own labor is worth $40, that's breaking the market right there. Like it's a totally arbitrary argument that, that the market regulates itself. And when you make a piece of art or entertainment or whatever you want to call it, you're not allowed to decide how much you think it's worth. You have to give it to me for how much I think it's worth, or I'm not going to buy it.
That's a really long way of saying people think it should be cheaper because a lot of other games are cheaper.
Yeah. Look, here's the thing. I'm looking at the Wikipedia page for this thing. He's been working on this since 2008.
Yes, since Braid came out, and actually a lot of it's been done for years. Like the puzzles were done, I think, in like 2011 or something.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's been doing like all these little tweaks. He's like a crazy perfectionist. If you've ever seen the indie game, the movie, which helped develop his reputation as a bit of a pretentious auteur. But I mean, the game has been done.
No David Cage, all right.
David Cage has a lot more money to play with.
I'm looking at the reviews and the scores for this. It seems universally everyone seems to think it's great. So. I mean, if this were a shitty game that he was charging a lot of money for, yeah, I'd be like, yeah, what the hell? But apparently everyone says it's like the best. So
it's reviewing very positively. I think a lot of people are unified in the idea that it's perhaps very frustrating if you're not willing to put in the work. Like you need graph paper, you need to be able to to take screenshots and stuff like that.
Oh my god, guys. I just like I said before, I love writing down shit while I play video games. So yeah, I'm all about this. But and my issue with the price is not because I think it's not worth that amount. If anything, it's the kind of game that I would. If it's a 20-hour game, that seems like a standard $50 to $60 game. My issue is just I don't buy anything until it's on sale. But that's me on a personal level.
It can actually be much longer. Like you only needed to do so much of it to see the end, but I think there are 700 puzzles in the whole game.
Over 600 is the running.
It's nuts. Like he put a tremendous amount of work into it. Like I don't know if it's coming across, but none of us have played it yet.
Yeah.
But it's been known for years what it is. It's like basically it's Myst. He remade Myst, but with But with Fez and the Talos principle as the gameplay instead of Myst's gameplay. But it's Myst in the sense you wake up on an island, there are puzzles.
Oh god, don't say Myst.
Johnny, it's Myst, but with Fez and the Talos principle puzzle. Sorry, it is.
God.
Intentionally, he said it. Jonathan Blow said I remade Myst and I made it better.
I know, and now I don't want to play it anymore.
I've never played Myst, so I can't speak to that. Yeah, I don't care. But yeah, I
that needs to be on your family crest. You've said it like 6 times in this episode. Leon Thomas, I don't care.
I care about the things I care about, and I don't care about the things that I don't care about. But no,
I want to play it. I want to get it personally.
Oh yeah.
Myself, but the thing is,
we are all going to play The Witness, definitely.
I have had to pull back currently on the games that I'm buying at launch because, well, there's a few $100s more that I hadn't properly budgeted to this thing that's getting mailed to me in April. So
yeah, you didn't get on the Oculus train.
I had to adjust the amount of money that I thought I was going to be paying to the amount of money that I am going to be paying. So,
Oops.
it's not an oops, Austin. It's just
How do you guys feeling for time?
We can wrap up. I had a thing I was going to say about how much I don't like Prince of Egypt, but it's barely worth mentioning.
Okay, you don't like Prince of Egypt. The
Nope.
end.
Nope. I just didn't enjoy it. I released my new episode on The Conformist. I was very happy with the way it turned out. The biggest conversation in the comments on YouTube is not about the movie though. It's about the movie Life is Beautiful. Someone says, "Hey, could you do Life is Beautiful?" And my normal answer is, I get tons of requests, but if you go to my Patreon, you can request it through there. I just can't do that sort of thing with everyone's request. But instead, this time I said, I will not do it even if you pay me, because I hate Life is Beautiful. People kept asking me why, like explain. I already did on a previous episode of Wordfunk. But to sum up, I think it basically everything that is said by the main character is super obnoxious, and I hated everything that happened. The end. And I'm sorry to say that because it's like its own almost universally beloved piece of art, much like Grim Fandango. So me and Austin are probably going to get some hate for saying these things, but and that's all I wanted to say. Any last words, guys?
We got like dozens of questions. A lot of them are jokes.
Yeah, I get a lot of joke questions. For people who send me joke questions, I really want to answer actual questions. So sorry. I just whenever I get something like that says, so Brent says, how gay does something need to be before it is described as a gay blank? Please establish a system of gay measurement before. I don't even know what that means, Brent.
Like if it's a gay book or like a gay movie, like how gay does it need to be? Like is Brokeback Mountain a gay movie?
I think the unit of measurement is homomes.
Well, that just happened.
It sure did. I didn't understand the framing of the question. But anyway, yeah, send us like real questions.
A lot of people also asked about season 2 of Dice Funk. I'm not ready to open that drawer up yet. I actually have things in place, so your suggestions are appreciated. But
and you guys are all assuming that season 1 is just about to end.
We have no idea.
If the most recent episode tells us anything, we have no idea what's going on.
Yeah. Oh my God, you have to listen to Dice Funk, everybody. But yeah, we don't know what's happening, but we will. Once the season concludes, we'll have an episode where we talk about everything like post-mortem, and then we'll talk a little bit about the next one before it launches. So that'll happen, but I don't have any specifics for you yet. I'm sorry.
All right.
And remember, kids, when death finally comes for you, you better know what the best 2 Unlimited song is. Not your favorite 2 Unlimited song. The best.
I don't know what 2 Unlimited is.
There's also a bunch of really personal questions. I didn't want to make you guys uncomfortable, but someone asked about Leon's experience with penises.
Austin, absolutely nothing. Like, what would make you think that I've been even slightly uncomfortable with any of the things that we've discussed on this show? Because
Austin, what was that question?
We've gotten personal a lot, but this one's really specific. It's Robert Paulson asks.
That's you, Leon.
Leon said once that he has seen a lot of penises. Why is that?
It's 2016. It's so difficult to avoid penises. They're everywhere.
Smacking me in the face. Okay. I'm not answering that.
Yeah, I know. I didn't think you would.
I'm gonna go. I haven't eaten dinner. I had a pretzel and a Danish today, and that's it. So I'm gonna go.
Well, while you're doing that, you better concern yourself with your mortal soul and figure out what the best 2 Unlimited song is.
I still don't know what that means.
I just posted their song in the Skype chat. One of their songs in the Skype chat right there.
Okay. I'm No, God, that.